A lost gold mine, a missing Prime Minister, and dark and sinister woods. Most people easily write off stories like these as coincidence or stories to be told around a campfire. Others would argue, however, that there's more to them than that. Inside every tale, there is a bit of truth. It just may not be so easily uncovered. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these 3 unsolved mysteries that can't be explained. The missing Prime Minister. On the 17th of December 1967, Prime Minister of Australia Harold Holt disappeared into the waters near Portsea, Victoria. Widely believed to be merely a swimming accident, various theories began to pile up. This is most likely because Holt's body was never recovered from the waters. Holt became Prime Minister in January 1966. Holt initially denied having security, deeming it unnecessary and making him seem impersonal to the public. This changed later, after a window of his office was sniped out and a later assassination attempt was made on the leader of the opposition. He finally agreed to one bodyguard but never took one on any vacations. Speaking of vacations, Holt was an avid outdoorsman. He had a fondness for spearfishing and would fish year-round. He also snorkeled, preferring the freedom versus the cumbersome weight of a tank. He is described as having incredible powers of endurance underwater. That being the case, however, Holt still had 2 near misses in the water. One which he blamed on a leaking snorkel, and one he blamed on chasing a fish while spearfishing. The morning of his disappearance began normally. Holt awoke early in his vacation house in Portsea, called his wife, and stopped at a general store. The items he purchased did not seem out of character: insect repellent, peanuts, and some newspapers. Holt spent the morning with friends, with a notable stop in Port Phillip Bay to catch a glimpse of a solo circumnavigator coming through. On the way home, in typical Holt fashion, he suggested they all stop for a swim at Cheviot Beach. His reasonings were the hot day and wanting to work up an appetite for the barbecue lunch they had planned to enjoy. Holt was familiar with the area, having spent lots of time swimming and fishing in the area. He had even once retrieved a porthole from a shipwreck in the area. Holt was the only one to venture deep into the water. Others deemed it unsafe due to a visible swell and undertow. Holt swam deeper out into the ocean, despite the calls from his friends, and without a wave or call for help, Holt simply slipped beneath the water. The search for Holt's body went on until January 5, 1968. A formal investigation deemed it an accidental drowning, stating Holt took a risk that day and paid the price for it. They found no evidence to prove otherwise. They went on further to explain that if sea creatures had gotten a hold of his body, he would have been reduced to bones within days. This would explain the lack of body being found. It all sounds so cut and dry, but soon enough, theories began to surface. Some theories claim he ended his life, fearing his political career was ending. The police report specifically ruled out this theory. However, as Holt carried on his ordinary routines, his wife went on to say that she believed him too selfish to commit suicide. Other more crazy ideas involve a Chinese submarine rescuing their lifelong spy and being killed by a Vietnamese nerve agent, all of which have been marked as nonsense from Holt's family. In Australia, Holt's death is often the subject of dark humour. It has impacted their slang. Instead of bolting, one would do a Harold Holt. His death has even inspired a storyline on an Australian soap opera. Whatever locals believe, it is obvious Holt's disappearance has impacted the lives of those he served. The Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. The Superstition Mountains. The name just makes you want to go and explore it even before you know what's said to be hidden in the hills. Located east of Phoenix, Arizona, there are tales of a gold mine, the Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine. People have been scouring the mountains looking for this treasure since at least 1892. At one point, it is said that over 8,000 people were looking for the mine annually. So, who was the Lost Dutchman? Well, as most stories, time and tale have twisted the history into a woven mix of fact and fiction. In fact, in 1977, there had been 62 versions of the story already in circulation. Most of them go something like this. German immigrant Jacob Volz settled in Arizona during the gold rush. Around that same time, there was a wealthy Mexican family in the same area, known as the Peraltas. The Peraltas were cattle ranchers who had also discovered gold along the Superstition Mountains. While returning gold to Mexico, the Peraltas were ambushed and most of them were killed by Apaches. Some stories say the Apaches took the gold back and hid it, later to be discovered by Volz. Others say Volz lent a helping hand to one of the remaining Peraltas who rewarded him by telling him where to find the gold. Either way you slice it, the gold was real. Upon his death in 1891, bars of gold were found beneath Volz's bed. In 1949, Peralta stones were found in the mountains, lending credibility to the tales. While hiking in the Superstitions, a hiker tripped over an exposed corner of the stone. This led him to dig up 4 different smooth, carved stones. There were many markings. One stone read, "I pasture north of the river." Others depicted figures such as a priest with a cross. Mentions of dangerous canyon walks and 18 marked places to get to the heart are on others. On 2 of the stones, maps are leading to a heart. The temperature at night drops rapidly, often causing hikers to have hypothermia. Others believe there isn't a mine to be found at all, instead a great cache of stolen goods and gold hid away by Volz himself. Whether it is a hidden cache or a pure gold vein, it has kept people searching. Although a law was passed in 1984 prohibiting the mining and digging in the area, treasure hunters still flock to the area, hoping for a bit of that gold rush excitement. The Clapham Wood Mystery. Clapham Wood is a wooded area located in West Sussex, England. The woods are not far from the small town of Clapham. Clapham is one of those towns you tell stories about. The small village that seems to have always been there was always the focus point of various stories. Being slightly shrouded from the public, there was always an air of mystery about it. Soon enough, people from the area began reporting strange goings-on there. Since the 1960s, UFOs have been prevalent in the skies above the woods and Clapham itself. There have been hundreds of sightings reported. Along with the sightings, people have complained of nausea and the feeling of being followed. There have also been reports of a strange grey mist hovering over the ground. People have been saying they've been pushed along pathways for years. Studies of the area show a slightly elevated level of radiation. However, the numbers are varied and are difficult to track. UFOs aside, Clapham Woods are a mystery for another reason. A strange string of events started in April of 1972. It was then when the body of a young woman was found in Clapham Woods. Police Constable Peter Goldsmith was assigned to the case. By June, Goldsmith himself had disappeared into the woods. It wasn't until 6 months later his body was found less than half a mile from where the girl was originally found. His cause of death was never identified. In 1975, residents began falling ill, and maybe even stranger, their pets started to go missing. On 2 occasions, only a week apart, 2 different men's dogs ran off into the woods and were never seen again. A 3rd dog was found after he had run off into the woods but was paralyzed. No cause was ever found, and the dog was eventually put down. In July of 1975, Leon Foster disappeared only to be found later in the woods. He was found by a couple searching for their horse, who had also gone missing. On Halloween 1978, a retired reverend disappeared, and in 1981, a homeless woman was found in the forest. The cause of the mysterious happening of the woods went unsolved for many years. That was until a paranormal investigator known as Charles Walker began asking questions. He claims to have received an anonymous phone call from a well-spoken man. This man offered to meet Walker at the crossroads deep in the Clapham Woods. Walker obliged and went to meet his anonymous caller. When he arrived, however, there was no one there. A voice called from the nearby brush. However, he did not wish to be identified, claiming it would be bad for both of them. He identified himself as a cult initiate of the Friends of Hecate, a satanic cult. The cult had been using the woods for their meetings, which often included sacrifices, which could explain away the missing animals. The initiate, however, did not mention any of the people who had wound up dead in the woods. The man did issue a warning. There are people in high places involved, holding positions of power and authority, who will tolerate no interference. we will stop at nothing to ensure the safety of our cult. Many believed the Friends of Hecate inhabited the woods until 1987, when the woods were damaged by a storm. UFOs, satanic cults, strange mists. Whatever the cause, Clapham Woods is definitely a wood shrouded in mystery. But what do you make of these mysteries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.